How's it going? I'm back. I just had my first ever music theory lesson and it's been really informative. It's just covering some of the basics like scales, notes, keys, but learning some of this stuff is really helping me to understand the music a lot better. And when I hear music or I'm learning music, understanding how it sort of all comes together and falls into place, because ultimately I want to get to the point where I can jam with other people, I can listen to songs, I can make my own music, for example. And understanding all of this stuff is imperative because it's a little bit more complex than just going on YouTube and figuring out, right, what are the chords that I need to play this song, and then you can play a song. But in order to become a much more diverse artist, then learning the theory behind it all is so key. So to start things off, like I said, I'm going to share just some of the basics of what I've been going through today. In this first lesson, we're just going to cover, number one, what the musical notes are and how they correspond to the fretboard here on your guitar. So you may or may not already be aware of what the notes are, but we're going to go through them anyway because this is the basics. This is the first lesson, and I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can see exactly what all the notes are, and we're just going to run through them all. There's two key things to remember when laying out all of the notes, is that there's two notes missing that they just don't exist. I'm not quite sure why they don't exist, but they don't exist. 2/4 because it's the sharp/flat. So if we start on an A, we have 12 notes that run through this whole scale, and it goes from A to G sharp, 12 different notes, and then it comes back to your A again. And that whole cycle of all of those notes is one octave when we go up through them all and then back to the first one, but on the higher octave. So kicking things off, we have an A. From every note, we move up a semitone to the next note. So a semitone from an A is an A sharp. Another semitone from an A sharp is a B, and so on. If we moved up a whole tone, the difference between tone versus semitone, a tone is moving up 2 notes, a semitone is moving up 1 note. So A to A sharp, 1 note, semitone. A to B is moving up 2 notes, so it's a full tone. With me? So we can keep going through this from A all the way to G, G sharp, but like I said, there's 2 missing, and the 2 that are missing is a B sharp and an E sharp, or equivalently a C flat and an F flat, because a B sharp is the same as a C flat and an E sharp is the same as an F flat. With me? So if we go through all of them, I'm just going to go through this. We have A sharp, B, no B sharp, so it's to C. Then we have C sharp, D, D sharp, E, no E sharp, F flat, none of that. So we go to F, then to an F sharp, then a G, G sharp, A. Cool? With me? Nice. Now, how do those notes correspond to the guitar? When we're playing different strings and different notes around here, what are we actually playing? Well, to understand that, we just first need to know, as long as our guitar is in standard tuning, this is what the strings are in standard tuning. So our lowest string is an E, A, D, moving down the guitar this way, E, A, D, G, B, A, D, G, B, A. Now people have different phrases, different things they use to remember this. I can't remember what any of those are, but I just remember it's E, A, D, G, B, A. And you might hear songs, for example, where they say the song is played in a different type of tuning. Dad Gad, for example. That just means D, A, D, G, A, D. So they'll have changed the tuning, so the string actually plays a different bass note. But on our standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, A, that's exactly what they are. So if we're not pressing our fingers on any of these frets, E, A, D, G, B, A, that's what they are. Now, to understand when we do press our fingers on different frets along the neck, probably aware that each one of everywhere where one of these bars is placed on the neck of the guitar, each of these is a different fret. So we've got first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And we're just going to go up to here for now because this is one octave of those 12 notes that we went through earlier. Let's start with the E string. So we've got the E right here. If we place our finger right here on the first fret, that means we've raised the note a semitone. Each fret is an increase of a semitone because a semitone is one note. If we move 2 frets, then we've moved a full tone, 2 notes. So if we have an E and we place our finger here, we play that note, we've increased the E 1 semitone up. So going from an E, moving up, remember there is no E sharp, so our next note in the scale is an F. So we've got E, F. Move up 1 more semitone again, F sharp. 1 more semitone again, G. 1 more again, G sharp. 1 more again, A sharp, B. Remember there's no B sharp, C flat. So from the B, and we go to C. There we go. C to C sharp, up 1 semitone. C sharp to D, D to D sharp, D sharp to E. We've gone through our 12 notes of the full octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Back to E. And the 13th. Nice. Then we can go through that process again if you want to understand what all the notes are on the other strings. So we have the A string right here, the second string from the top when you're looking at your guitar. E, A. So if we place our finger right here on the A string, we've gone up from A semitone, 1 note. So A goes to A sharp, A sharp to B, no B sharp, remember? So B goes straight to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, remember there's no E sharp, so we go to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then when we get to this 12th fret, we're back to the A again. Gone all through 12 notes. And again, we'll do it one more time. E, A, D, so we've got the D string here. D to D sharp, E, no E sharp, so we go to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, to A sharp, to B, no B sharp, so we go C, C sharp, and then to D. That's our D string, and we've got back to D here on the 12th fret. Amazing. And then you could do the same thing, E, A, D, G, B, E. So you could work that out again yourself. If you just go through that scale we've gone through and figure out, if I go up a semitone each time through all of these to the 12th fret, what notes are those? And just remember, no B sharp, no E sharp. Nice and easy. We are going to leave it there for that first lesson, just to cover the basics. And in the next lesson, I'm going to be covering what a scale is and what tones and semitones are, and how you can work out a scale that starts from a particular note. Cool, awesome. See you in the next one.